A few weeks ago on YouTube, I was scrolling around watching different stuff, and I've been watching guys doing carving and whittling and such, and something I've always been a little bit interested in and never really did too much of. And I stumbled across the author of this book, Chris Lubkeman, and he's got some videos on, I think it's Fox Chapel, and he does carving, whittling, and he uses a Swiss Army knife. And I thought that was kind of neat. I'm into Swiss Army knives, and figured I'd give it a shot and get one. And what he does is he modifies one of the blades on it and uses it for whittling. And so I got the book and thumbed through it, and I like it. And he uses a couple different models through his career of whittling, and the one I got was called the Camper, and I had done a video on making it, and I actually modified it. It had 3 layers, and I took it apart and took 2 of the layers out and moved the corkscrew and put the awl in place of it and everything, and figured I'd have me a little whittling knife, because like what he does is with sticks and such, he has the saw, and you can have it in your pocket, be out in the woods, get you a couple twigs or branches or something here and there, and take your blade and set the whittling. And in the whole course of the video, the first 5 minutes, like I am now, 4 minutes, whatever it is, everything was up here out of frame. And then when I did the video of taking the knife apart, I even had reference points on my bench here. I ended up, my hand was in the way because of the placement of the camera. I have the camera in a different spot now. Right now it's on the back side of my bench. And actually the light's a little better because it's right up here. So I think this will work out better. What I had done, so I scrapped the whole video, I never made it. I actually had it all edited together, and then when I was reviewing it, I was watching it, and I realized, oh crap, the whole first beginning and talking about the knife and pointing out what I'm doing was out of frame. So I got on eBay again, and I actually ended up getting another knife, and this one's different. The one I originally modified was called the Camper. This one's the Hiker, and what I'm going to do is actually on this one, when I modified the blade, I modified the long blade as well and reprofiled it, and got it sharpened, honed down real sharp. So I'll just keep this as a dedicated my whittling knife, and then this one I'll put in my collection of rotation of knives that I carry on a weekly basis. So, and what I'll do with this one is I'll keep the original blade the way it is, and I'm only going to modify this one for whittling. And you can see here the profile changes. You can see a little bit the belly is taken out of the short blade, and the end got filed or sanded down a little bit, and it gives a little bit more of a point. So I'll only be doing that to the little blade on the Hiker here, and I'll be keeping the saw, but we're going to lose the opener layer, as I've heard other Swiss Army knife guys call them. So, oh, and also the key ring tab, that'll have to come off. And being more of a everyday carry kind of a knife, the only thing it will have is for whittling will be the short blade. So I like a Phillips screwdriver, and the Hiker had the Phillips on it. And I think what I'm going to do is I like a Phillips and a flathead for prying or different sorts of stuff. I think what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to take it apart, and I'm going to take the opener layer off, and I'll have to move the back spring in because the awl is all the way up here on the outer layer. So the back spring for the saw blade will have to get swapped out. And I think what I'm going to do is take the bottle opener, and I don't know how well it's going to work out. If it doesn't, then I'll just eliminate that back layer altogether. I'm gonna try and reprofile this guy and put him on the back. That way I'll have a Phillips screwdriver, and I'll have a flat screwdriver for whatever, and a little bit of prying stuff, and then it'll still keep, the tweezers, and equally we'll also keep the toothpick on the other side. So the only thing we're gonna lose is this layer on the outside, the can opener and the bottle opener, the combo tools, and we're gonna lose the awl, but that position will get moved next to the screwdriver Phillips, and I'm gonna try and keep the this one. So I'll still have a Phillips, a flat, a saw blade, a main blade, and then it'll have my the little short blade. I'll have that for carving. So I'll show you the book again. There's the book, and the author's Chris Lubkeman. I think it was like $9 or $11. I think I got this on Amazon. But he shows, it gives a brief introduction to Swiss Army knives and the location and the history. And it shows some projects and different things in here. I'm trying to show, yeah, he's got a section in here where he talks about the knife and things to do, and he goes over how to sharpen it and so forth, talks about some of the different models. And there's a little section on the honing. There's the book. That's how thick it is there. And here's some of the projects that I've done with it. That's a little guy that I made. It's basswood. There's a little owl that I made. There's another little, this is a piece of pine. It's like a scrap piece of 2x4. Little wood spirit. And then out of the book here, I made a little twig rooster. So it works pretty good. And so enough talking. I'm gonna go ahead and get into breaking this thing down. What I'm gonna do first is, not gonna use that one, use a different one. Oh, this one here. You got another Swiss Army knife of mine. I'll take the blade, and we gotta pop the scales off. So I'm gonna take the tools out, and I'm gonna go ahead and get this key ring off. We'll be keeping that back spring because it's in the it's on the awl, but we'll be grinding. When I want to get it out, I'll grind that tab off. And the reason I'm thinning it down is to make it smaller profile to be able to get in. And even with 2 layers, trying to get in on some stuff, I find it gets in the way. It works better one way than the other because the blade's slightly off center. However, it still works really well. So anyhow, key ring's off, tools are out. I'm just gonna take my knife blade and ease it in here and just gently just work it and pop these guys off. It should pop right out. Try not to cut yourself. Get in here. One. There we go. So there's the blade, or the, I'm sorry, there's the scales off. It just popped right off. And there's little dimples with a little rib on them. And then the camera won't focus. But there's a through pin, and then it's got a little collar, and then the pin's swollen inside that collar. And that collar's got a little shoulder, I don't know if you can see it. And that's what snaps into the recess on the scale and holds it together. So what I'll be doing, and I already have from the last knife, I have a block of wood made up. I've already got some holes and detents for the knife to fit into so it stays flat and level and so forth. And there's through holes so I can punch the pins through. So I'm gonna drill the center just a little bit to get them collars off, and then I can pop these layers off one by one. So here we go. Okay, so we got her all finished up, and here it is right here. Tweezers back in it, toothpicks back in it, and we got nice clean. I haven't oiled it yet, but it's nice clean snap. This one's not so much, a little bit. saw. So we have this right here that I'll probably take and just clean that up a little bit, soften it up. And I may reprofile that. There's a little bit of room. I can profile that down and profile that down and clean it up. And that'll get it to close just a little more, and that'll take the square edges off. But otherwise, it's not too bad. So that gives me a nice everyday carry. Got my screwdriver for whatever, my Phillips, and I have a still my nice blade. And then I reprofiled the little blade for a carving blade. And you can kind of see I took a little bit off of here, and that gives me a finer point. And took the belly out of it because it was profiled like that. So I just made it like that. And I put just a initial bevel on there. It's not sharp at all. It's got a little bit of edge to it, but I'll do a second part where I'll hone it and probably take something and do a little carving. So there you go. This was the hiker. It was 3 layers, if you remember. And it had the, what'd I do with it? Oh, there's the awl. Took the awl off and replaced it with the bottle opener. And the bottle opener is now just a screwdriver. So I'm pretty pleased with it. So we'll take the hiker and we'll call this the Carver. So now I got my little knife, and I can go find me a stick and whittle.